funny. We saw you kind of milling around the other radio station. We're like, it would time out just perfectly if Keith Urban was over and Martina came walking over, and here you are.
Was Keith just here?
Well, you could say that. We were playing a song.
Oh.
And you didn't call us when you were in town. You took that train trip across the country, and you were in Flagstaff.
I was.
But that's a little bit up the mountain from us. But how was your brief stay in Arizona and the train ride in general?
It was really great. It was intense. We did 11 stops from coast to coast over 3.5 days. But I thought it was awesome. I love the fact that we got to walk off the train and see a bunch of fans, and 3 of the stops we got to perform, and it was really fun.
Well, it's funny when you go back to the days of the old politicians. That's how they used to do it. I mean, they used to take the train and stop in the little towns, and now it's almost a forgotten art.
Well, you forget how many people don't like to fly who ride trains, like your father.
My dad loves it.
My parents were talking about taking a trip out on a train at Amtrak this Christmas because they didn't want to pay airline prices, and they realized it was more expensive to take the train. They ain't going to do it.
And Martina, you found out the easy way. You can take whatever you want on a train. There's basically no security. So, bombs in your shoes, whatever you want to do.
That's not true. Actually, the security was pretty intense.
Well, for you, yeah.
Well.
For the rest of us, not so much. Like, who are you? Okay, whatever.
On your own, right?
But how did you find the whole experience? Is that something you would ever do again?
Yeah, it is, actually. I've always wanted to take a train trip. John and I have talked about it for years, and I think on one of the very few downtimes we had where we sort of just sat and watched the country go by, it's such a cool way to see the country because, like on a tour bus, we're on an interstate.
Yeah.
There's lots of traffic. There's billboards, fast food signs. It's like when you're on a train, you feel like you're like more on the interior of the country. I mean, you're going past people's backyards and small towns.
Right.
And the coolest things, I've gone on YouTube since I got back and seen footage of people filming our train going like past.
Because they knew you were on it. There's the Martina
cool?
train. Yeah. What was the coolest state that you traveled through? Like from a scenic standpoint.
Honestly, Arizona and New Mexico and a few parts of California, it's so interesting to me how there's like absolutely nothing, like just brush and desert really and rocks.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there'll be like this. There was a diner right in the middle of nowhere with a big cafe sign, and I thought, what is it doing out here?
How much business is this guy pulling in?
Yeah.
In Martina, you probably, like you do when we take road trips, you're probably like, who lives out here? Like, you see that little RV out there in the middle of nowhere, you're like, who is that?
Okay, do you know? I know you don't know that
I don't
person,
know.
but I'm just saying, like, what is that? Because I was going to bring that up too. Honestly, it's like there's nothing around for miles, and you'll see like 2 little houses, or like you said, an RV and a dog running around, and you're thinking, okay, what's up? Like, what's
Did you ever
going
see
on?
that movie Into the Wild?
No.
I'm thinking it's like that guy who burns all his money and starts eating wild berries and killing squirrels.
Think when you got to get like a gallon of milk, you're out of milk with your. Where do you go? It's like 30 miles to the grocery store, maybe.
I'm off to Chicago.
Interview somebody. You should go out there and knock on the door and interview them, see what they're up to.
And especially in Arizona, like when you're coming in on the 10 from, say, California, you look off to the right, you see them. There's these little RVs out there. You just hope that they're not there permanently, but you get the feeling. Who knows?
I'm thinking the hills have eyes or something.
You don't want to stop there. Oh, and I wanted to ask you, too, after Teenage Daughters came out, have you seen this new sitcom that's coming? And I'm not going to say the network because we're all big fans of ABC here today, but it's called I Hate My Teenage Daughter.
I saw a billboard for it when I was in L.A., but I haven't heard really what it's about. I guess it's about hating teenage daughter.
But I think if you have a teenage daughter, you can kind of say that. But if you don't, it might sound mean. But, my daughter's 11, and I can clearly see the future of that show and why it would be funny.
Right. You have teenage daughters. He's going to have one pretty soon.
I'm pre-teening right now. I'm 11. I'm pre-teening.
Any advice for him?
Hang on. No, actually, I tell you what the biggest adjustment is for me as a mother wasn't really what they're doing, because my kids are good kids. They're good kids. They're just normal teenagers.
Have you checked Facebook lately? I mean, really?
We have a good relationship. They're not perfect, but they're good kids. But it's my perception. Like, it freaks me out that they're getting independent, and like I have a 6-year-old, so I have a direct comparison. I still pick out what she's going to wear. She comes with me when I say she's going to come with me. She does what I kind of pretty much, tell her to do. And you get to 16, it's like they can take your advice or not.
Right.
Yeah. They're out there on their own with their friends, making their own decisions, and it's just weird.
God, I'm a control freak. I'm going to freak out when my kids are 16.
Do you remember the first moment when one of your daughters, you asked her to do something, she just looked and goes, "No, I'm not doing that."
Well, that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, really?
I mean,
okay, I got to shoot my kid. Definitely. It happened at 11.
You need to have me come hang out with your kid for a bit. No, I don't know. That they haven't said that to my face.
Yeah.
Now, whether they actually follow through with what I want them to do,
Right.
who knows?
Well, Martina, congratulations on the new album.
Thanks.
Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for coming through our state and saying it was cool, even our little squatters out there in the middle of nowhere.
You never age either. That's
I know.
Every time she
Women
comes by.
hate you because she's beautiful. She doesn't work hard for it. It's just natural.
20 years from now, she's going to look exactly the same.
Yeah.
She's saying, "Stop it, go on, stop it, go on." Ben and Matt in Nashville, 102.5 KNIX.